No one expected this, at least not in this tone. When your general manager, the man in charge of personnel decisions, sends a message to the entire fan base to temper their expectations, eyebrows naturally rise. That's exactly what John Lynch did ahead of the 2025 season, despite what the numbers, odds, and even offseason optimism suggest. So what does Lynch know that the average Niners fan might not? Or perhaps the more appropriate question is, what exactly is brewing behind the scenes that could make this one of the most unpredictable seasons in recent 49ers history? Let's break it down now, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay informed. And let me know what you think of John Lynch in the comments below. I want to hear from you. The San Francisco 49ers aren't coming off a typical season. The team went 6-11 last year, a stunning fall from grace after 3 consecutive appearances in the NFC Championship. And despite this dip, Las Vegas oddsmakers are confident. The Niners have the 6th highest win total projection in the entire NFL, sitting at 10.5, right alongside the Detroit Lions and behind the usual Super Bowl suspects, the Chiefs, Eagles, Ravens, and Bills. Not only that, but the Niners also carry the 6th best odds to win Super Bowl 60, a Super Bowl that will be hosted on their very own turf at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The odds? 13-1. That's a massive vote of confidence from the betting world for a team that made major offseason changes. But then comes Lynch, pouring just a touch of cold water on all that heat. Why? This will be a younger team, Lynch said candidly. And I know oftentimes with that, you're probably going to take some lumps and it's going to take some time. His words weren't a warning, they were a reality check. Let's not forget, this offseason was borderline revolutionary. San Francisco brought back Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator, an undeniable upgrade from Nick Sorensen. They hired Brant Boer as special teams coordinator. 18 rookies were added to the team, including both draft picks and UDFAs. Veterans walked in free agency, forcing a full-on youth movement. And yet, despite these dramatic shifts, San Francisco doubled down on its core. Brock Purdy was locked up, George Kittle got his extension, and Fred Warner was made the highest-paid linebacker in the game. Lynch isn't backing off from ambition. He's acknowledging the volatility. In his words, you're going to have to make some mistakes. That's no excuse, it's just a reality. He's not wrong. Mistakes will come. But the question now is, can the talent, both old and new, absorb them and still carry this team to the postseason? Because let's be clear, the talent is there. Trent Williams is still anchoring the left side of the line, potentially the best left tackle of all time. George Kittle remains a generational tight end. Christian McCaffrey, if healthy, is a top 5 weapon in all of football. Add in Brandon Ayuk if he returns, a potential breakout from Ricky Pearsall, and Brock Purdy, who has played like a borderline top 10 QB since 2022, and the offense still has teeth. Then you flip to the defense. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Charvarius Ward. Talented names you know. But also a handful of rookies that may actually start. Why? Because they might just be the best options already. Mikael Williams, C.J. West, and Alfred Collins all have a real shot to start on the defensive line. Nick Martin, who stood out all spring, might line up next to Warner. Upton Stout, despite being undersized, might be the best nickel corner on the roster right now. And all of this is happening under the leadership of Robert Saleh, one of the brightest defensive minds in the NFL. The comparison made? Going from a high school sweetheart who's a 5 out of 10 to Sydney Sweeney. That's how dramatic the upgrade is viewed. This team might be young, but the schedule is kind. According to analysts, the Niners have the easiest slate in the league. That means these rookies aren't immediately being asked to slow down the Chiefs or dissect Josh Allen, at least not weekly. There's room to stumble, to grow, to find identity by midseason and be dangerous by December. Lynch's bet isn't just on youth. It's on trajectory. Let these rookies take their lumps now, so by week 10 or 12, they're not rookies anymore, they're difference makers. So what do you think, faithful? Is Lynch being too cautious, or is this the smartest way to set expectations for a team that may be building towards something bigger than just this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, to be honest, this is where things start to get really intriguing. Because when you dig deeper into San Francisco's moves this offseason, beyond the headlines, beyond the betting faith, you start to see the outlines of a strategy that aims not just to win in 2025, but to establish the next era of 49ers dominance. Let's start with the draft, and it wasn't just about plugging holes. It was about targeting long-term foundational pieces. The potential starting trio on the defensive line, Mykel Williams, C.J. West, and Alfred Collins, aren't just NFL-ready talents, they're explosive, intelligent players who could make up the new core alongside Bosa. That's not rebuilding. That's reloading with a new generation. Then you consider the linebacker room. Nick Martin isn't just flashing potential, he's earned consistent praise through minicamp and OTAs. Lining him up next to Fred Warner doesn't just give San Francisco a short-term fix, it gives them the future of the linebacker unit. And if that nickel corner spot does go to Upton Stout, who's already being praised for his physicality and instincts despite his size, then the Niners may have quietly assembled one of the youngest, and most exciting, defensive backfields in the NFL. That's where Robert Saleh's presence becomes even more valuable. You don't just bring in a top-tier defensive coordinator to maintain, you bring him in to build. And Saleh has a history of maximizing young talent. It's not a coincidence that his return coincides with the most significant youth movement in years. Meanwhile, on the offensive side, the team's veteran anchors are still elite. Trent Williams hasn't lost a step. George Kittle continues to defy every expectation for a modern tight end. And if Brandon Ayuk returns, that passing attack remains lethal, especially with Purdy at the helm. Speaking of Purdy, let's not overlook him. In 2022 and 2023, he played beyond expectations, even with limitations. Now, he's paid. He's protected. He has continuity with Shanahan. And most importantly, he has the tools and coaching stability to thrive again. But here's where the strategy really gets interesting. All these rookies, all this youth, they're not just replacements. They're cost-controlled. That's vital. The 49ers are eating a lot of dead cap this season. It's a reset year financially. And yet, they still project to be a playoff team. That's the mark of an elite front office. And if all goes right, if they flip last season's 6-11 to 11-6, that means the team remains competitive while resetting the books. That opens the door for bigger moves in 2026 and beyond, once the financial flexibility returns. So Lynch wasn't wrong when he said there might be lumps. There will be growing pains. But it's all part of a much bigger, much more calculated plan. One that sets up a reloaded, youthful, and explosive 49ers team not just for 2025, but for years to come. Now I turn it over to you. Are you buying into this strategy? Do you think Lynch and Shanahan are building something special, or is this youth movement too risky, too soon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into the 49ers' most unpredictable season in recent memory, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Go Niners!